Alright, come on, Harry, you gotta do this. Be brave. Can this be described as anything other than the other James Corden episode, Feet Auntie Mabel from Come Outside? Thankfully, this is Corden's final Earthbound nepotistic adventure on the show, but technically there's one other thing Corden did that was Who related, that weird Night and the Doctor bonus feature that's found on the Series 6 DVD and Blu-ray box sets. Not to be confused with The Night of the Doctor, this 5-part special predominantly shows the Doctor handling a party-ridden lifestyle with River popping in and out of his life. The 5th and final part just establishes essentially what Closing Time does, introduces Corden's character having a son and fretting about his responsibilities as a father. We begin in some shopping centre where the first problem of the episode arises, the cheapest cliche Doctor Who can muster, that of flashing lights indicates something sussy is going on.
When's the council going to fix this?
After this girl finishes her shift, the supervisor cleans up some clothes that have been left lying around in the changing room.
Kelly.
Wait, so was this girl who was moaning about the council trying loads of clothes on before she left? If not, what kind of people try on clothes and just leave them on the floor like this? It's all in aid of essentially tripping up this character as an excuse to get her taken by the lone Cyberman that came out of the wall. Meanwhile, Craig is being left on his own for a weekend and pretends to be able to deal with it. That same forced romantic music heard in the lodger made me cringe pretty hard, but the purpose of it seemed lost upon me given that it's fairly clear, even without watching that episode, that these two are in fact a couple. Craig seemed to force her out the door here without any mention of the pair potentially missing each other.
Now please go and have a rest, you need it. Okay, you really have to go now.
So maybe they did need to play that horrendous music after all. The Doctor then arrives to help Craig babysit his own son. It soon transpires that he is not only the worst father ever, but the characterization and script seems to press that he doesn't really know a thing about taking care of a baby, as though he hadn't been dealing with sleepless nights and feeding and nappy changing for the past couple of months or so.
I can't go by my own with him. I can't, he just cries all the time. I mean, do they have off switches?
It seemed to me like the man just needed to learn how to relax. It was strange that the Doctor couldn't identify that Craig seemed to be impressing his own stress onto his child, which seemed to be the root of the crying problem. The Doctor then enacted the whole speaking baby thing, which, oddly enough, wasn't just a throwaway line this time, but was developed into some rather good jokes. Stormageddon, peasants not responding when summoned, this stuff was genuinely funny. The Doctor then left, and I quite liked this compulsion of his to save the world instead of facing the Grim Reaper. That was until the Doctor became a rather enthusiastic Hamleys employee. I won't lie, I think seeing his interview for this job could have been rather entertaining, but instead he simply is an employee of the department store at the snap of one's fingers.
What the hell are you doing here?
Oh, I'm the Doctor. I work in a shop now.
It doesn't take long for everyone else who works there to recognise him like they've known him for years.
Hello everyone, here to help.
Hello, Doctor.
Anyway, we get another reminder to keep your TV switched on because TV is great!
Page 1 has an exclusive on Nina, a local girl who got kicked off Britain's Got Talent. Far too excited about Nina's emotional journey, which, in fairness, is quite inspiring.
Maybe it was things on telly, scary stuff, frightening him, so we stopped letting him watch.
Oh, you don't want to do that.
How desperate to appeal to mainstream audiences do you have to be to write this kind of shit into your scripts? The pair then take the lift and the Doctor tries to prevent panic by confessing his love for Craig. Sometimes I am truly glad that rule number 1 is that the Doctor lies. Auntie Mabel is then shown working in the store as well, being under the assumption that the Doctor and Craig are a couple. It was pretty amusing throughout, but I thought it was a shame she did little more in this episode than holding the baby in the episode's climax. Linda Barron had also been in 2 classic serials, both in the 60s and 80s. When the pair decided to do some investigating, Craig just basically became the Doctor with a buggy, displaying a typically unfunny lack of social skills.
Talk to me about ladies' wear.
They even had almost identical lines.
Hi, George. Nice uniform.
Nice uniform, George.
With the Doctor being able to magically influence people, he is able to go into the ladies' changing rooms whilst people are in there. There's something very fishy about all this, and it's definitely not all the underwear that's been tried on today. No, it's more like a plot. A plot to cheapen Doctor Who until they're left resorting to filming in a department store with a recycled bunch of baddies. It's horrible, isn't it?
Why a shop?
Well, it's fairly obvious, isn't it? A lot of people coming and going every day, plenty of upgrades to be had without any questions asked. Anyway, the episode seemingly by accident had a great moment with Amy and Rory suddenly appearing in the shopping centre. See, I say a great moment purely because of the reveal, the tagline. It was really quite similar to that bit in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films when Mary Jane became a model. Sadly, the more I think about this moment, the less sense it makes.
And this is just a coincidence, is it? Aliens in Colchester. Aliens twice in my life.
I'm presuming that the house the Doctor gave the pair was in Colchester too, otherwise why would they be shopping in this exact shopping centre? Does this mean he deliberately moved them to Colchester and took a job in the shopping centre on the off chance he might see them again? And what about Ledworth? Oh, bye Mum and Dad who have only just come back into my life, we're moving to Colchester so I can become a model. The pair do a conveniently terrible job of sneaking around the shop after closing time and find George dead in the basement or something. He got captured, but the Doctor didn't.
They changed the missing into Cybermen. Why didn't they change you?
Long story, I'm not exactly compatible.
Just you wait, just you wait.
After catching the metal rat, the Doctor goes back home with Craig to do some chemistry at the dinner table for no reason whatsoever. Despite people are dying at the mall, isn't it horrendous that Craig's biggest concern is...
We've run out of milk.
After a rather pointless chat with Stormageddon, the Cyber Rat was back with a vengeance. The Doctor ran down the stairs with this rather obviously fake baby, and he then locked himself out of the house. The pair then deactivated this metal rat thing for the second time, and the Doctor started running on about how tomorrow is his death day. I'm very confused as to how exactly this can be the case when he's a bloody time traveller. The concept of tomorrow shouldn't even be a thing for somebody who's not binded by a linear means of existence. He just sounds more like an addict than anything else.
Tomorrow I'll stop putting it off and I'll quit my smoking habit, Craig, I promise.
The next morning, the Doctor once again returned to the ladies' dressing room and found the cyber ship somehow existed deep beneath the Earth. The Doctor says,
This ship crashed here centuries ago.
so the whole
Why a shop?
question just gets tossed to the wind. Craig then arrived in time for a rescue, and the Cybermen concluded he was intelligent, which is the most laughable line of the entire episode, and started turning him into the cyber controller. Lo and behold, the most convenient wrap-up to the episode came in the form of Craig and Alfie's love for each other just blowing up the Cybermen.
Cybermen. They blew up. I blew them up with love.
No. Just seeing the footage of Auntie Mabel holding the baby over and over again made me wonder why she had no customers to deal with or work to be getting on with. She just stands there conveniently for this horrendous excuse of a twist to play out. Watching this spaceship explode as well, you know, it's buried deep beneath the Earth. No concerns for the department store falling beneath it too, now that the supports have gone.
The building should be totally safe structurally, and of course the bonded decilium contains the explosion.
Well, isn't that a relief? And as we all know, whatever the Doctor says must be the truth, right? Even though rule number 1 is the Doctor lies. Or is it don't wander off?
Every time, it's rule 1, don't wander off. I tell them I do, rule 1.
The Doctor's always saying don't wander off. First rule with him, actually, don't wander off.
Everything else Craig-related ended in a really cringy fashion. I thought Alfie's first word being Doctor was bad enough, but then he just stands in front of a bunch of kids in the street who have these fucking thought tracks, and oh my god, they're bad. They're like TripAdvisor reviews for seeing the Doctor.
I really liked his hat.
It transitions awkwardly into River's graduation day, apparently sitting in the same room she was interviewed in. Madame Kavarian certainly looked creepy, cowering in the shadows, but this ending completely muddled my perception of events previously established. The Silence kidnap River at this point and put her in the suit to kill the Doctor. Admittedly, I was under the impression she was still a child when she killed him. I mean, she was running around in the suit as a child in the first 2 episodes of the series. Why didn't they just use her then to do the dirty deed? I suppose it wouldn't make terrific sense though if River killed the Doctor as a child and still had a compulsion to do so after completing her mission. With this reveal though, I wonder what the point of putting her in the suit as a child was. If this was purely because their initial attempt on the Doctor's life in 1939 failed, that's fine, but this wasn't exactly made clear. If River's no longer indoctrinated by the Silence, does that mean they only control the spacesuit? This final shot looks so shite as well. There's only one episode that can sort out all of this: the wedding of River Song. So, did it suck? Here we are again, another crappy ending tacked onto another crappy adventure. Am I right in thinking all the money for this just got poured into hiring James Corden? He's just playing himself again, and I find his character equally detestable. There are a few laughs in this episode, but most of it is just dribble. What was even the point in this episode? Was it that hard to make the wedding of River Song a 2-parter? Money and script writing time are clearly something Moffat didn't have in 2011. I give closing time a 2 out of 10. Hey look, Harbo got it right. Give me that shit. I think seeing his interview for this job could have been rather entertaining, but sadly, the more I think about this moment, the less tense it. The pair then deactivated. Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna get my inhaler. Blech. Why can't I cannot get this sentence right. The next morning, the Doctor once again returned to the ladies' bathroom. No, it's not a bathroom, it's a dressing room. The next morning, the Doctor once again returned to the ladies' bathroom. No, I've done it again. There's only one episode that can sort out all of this. Diagon Alley. I mean, the husbands of River Song. The husbands! Oh my god, that's another episode.